This video is powered by USA Gundam. Visit USAGundamstore.com today for all of your Gunpla and hobby needs. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another product review from the lovely family over at USA Gundam Store. In this review, we will be taking a look at the Kotobukiya Liger Zero X. This is the Kotobukiya HMM, the high-end Master Models series, Liger Zero X from Zoids. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is my first official model kit from Kotobukiya. I've used some of the, detail parts and stuff like that, but this is a full Kotobukiya kit, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this thing and snap building it up. By the way, as of the time of this video coming out, I will have already snap built this live on Instagram, and they're all on there. So if you go to my Instagram, which I will link below, you will be able to see, I think it's 4 episodes, but you'll be able to see the entire build from start to finish, if that's something that interests you. Without further ado, let's crack this box open and see what's inside. So there is a lot in this box to go over, as this box was filled to the brim with runners. It goes all the way from runner A to V, and it has a couple duplicates in between. So kicking things off with runner A here, you can see it's done in a brown plastic, and it seems to be inner frame parts for the head. Runner B, we will see more of that same brown plastic, also for some inner frame, possibly body parts. Runner C, we see also again in that brown plastic, looks to be parts of the inner frame for, say, the legs. Runner D, more of that same inner frame, definitely leg pieces here, also done in that brown plastic, and there is 2 of these runners. E looks like it could be some inner frame detailing parts done in what seems to be injection mold gunmetal. Runner F seems to be more inner frame pieces done in that brown plastic. As you can see, it is ABS plastic, and there is 2 of these runners. G, once again, small runner of inner frame pieces done in that brown plastic. Runner H, we will see even more of that inner frame pieces in that brown plastic. This seems to be parts of the feet, as you can see here, and there is also 2 of these runners. Runner I, we will see what seems to be slightly different shade of that brown plastic, almost has a reddish hint to it, and this seems to be maybe more detail pieces for the frame. Runner J, we will see the claws, the teeth, and the lower jaw of the Liger done in this injection mold silver. Runner K, we will see some springs and some piston detail parts done in this plated gold, and there are 2 of these. Runner L, we will see the caps that go along the joints of the Liger, which are done in plastic, so these are not rubber or anything like that, and there are 2 Ls. M seems to be more claw pieces done in that gunmetal color, and there is 2 of these. N is this little piece here that has the clear green for the eyes and cameras, it seems. It's also in the same bag as what I would assume would be like the core of the Liger, done in a clear plastic, or clear red. And this one here, which is P, which there is a runner P, so I'm not sure what this really is, but it seems to be the pilot. Now there are 3 O's. This is O1, and as you can see, it's done in a black plastic and seems to be armor pieces for, say, the head and things like that. Moving on to O2, more of that same black plastic for more armor pieces. These seem to be the armor pieces for, say, the hip pieces. And O3, which is these 4 little pieces here, also done in that black plastic, and there are 2 O3s. Runner P, done in this injection mold pale gold, and as you can see here, the injection mold is really showing itself on that faceplate of the Liger. But this seems to be armor pieces and accessory pieces picked out in this pale gold. Runner Q will have more of that same pale gold, and it seems to be accent pieces, and there are 2 of these runners. Runner R, done in this beautiful blue, and this will be of course, the armor pieces and accessory pieces around the armor, say the sides of the head, the top of the head, and such, but I absolutely love this blue color. S1 will show us more of this injection mold gold, and of course this is going to be more accessory armor pieces. And S2 will have more accessory armor pieces as well as the actual weapons itself, which are these really detailed, nice looking blades here. And there are 2 of this runner. T1 will introduce this new color. It's a baby blue, but it almost has a tinge of lavender to it. And as you can see, it has more armor pieces on it. T2 done in that same baby blue lavender color with a few more pieces on it, and there is 2 of these runners. Runner U will have these 4 clear blue pieces that are used on the hip areas. And last but not least, to wrap things up, we have Runner V, which seems to be these pistons done in the same injection silver as the claws. The kit does come with a small sheet of water slide decals, as you can see here. And I almost forgot, the kit does come with 3 little runners of polycaps. And the polycaps are also done in that same brownish color that the inner frame is. Taking a quick look here at the user manual, it seems to be more of a book, which is really neat. I like the way that this is kind of designed. Of course, this is the Liger Zero X. It is from Kotobukiya, and it is part of their HMM line. But one thing I've noticed on here is it's breaking out what each step is along here, kind of like an index, which is really neat. So you can see the first step will be the head, tail, chest, waist, front leg, hind leg. So that's pretty neat. I've never seen one on the cover break out an index like that. And of course it has some nice little artwork on the front of the kit built. And flipping into the pages here, you will be greeted with first what seems to be probably a background on the Liger Zero X, but it also has this really cool artwork here of it. And then moving on, we have some product shots, and then we move on to some really cool line art here of the Liger Zero X. Moving on, we have some more line art here. You can see that's the leg, stuff like that. And then it moves on to, of course, how to properly cut the part from the runner. And then we have the runner guide showing you all the runners, so you can do some part checks, stuff like that. And then moves on into, the instructions themselves, how to put the kit together. And from the look of it, it actually seems to be a pretty good build. So I'm really looking forward to actually doing this. And on the back, we have more line art here of the tail and blades, and a color guide if you were wanting to paint this as far as what the manual states, and a little diagram of how to apply water slides. And on the back, we have more of those product shots of the Liger Zero X with the cockpit open, some really cool little poses and stuff like that. So to kick things off on this review, I actually wanted to start the Liger Zero X out without armor on it, mainly due to the fact of it will be easier to show off the articulation of the kit without the armor on it, as it gets a little bit bulky around the leg area, and also to show off this immaculate inner frame. So taking a look at this inner frame, as you can see, the legs, the torso, even up in the head area is just completely decked out in all types of molded detail. So honestly, you could just stop at this point and not even put armor on and just display it as is, because it is just such a pleasant thing to see so much detail molded into this kit. And if you were going to paint this kit, you could do a lot a lot of detail painting on this inner frame, which I do eventually plan to do. As far as articulation, we will start with the head. The head can move down that far, up that far, which is actually a pretty good range of motion there. The neck itself can actually move up and down as well separately. There is a ball joint connecting the neck with the head. The mouth can open and close to reveal all of those nice silver sharp teeth. as well as a lot of molded detail up inside the mouth. The cockpit can open to reveal the pilot figure. Side note about the pilot figure is actually made of 5 separate pieces, which is very interesting that you have to actually build the pilot. And of course you have transparent eyes done in green, and the neck can also swivel side to side as so to actually assist with getting even more out of the head turn, as you can see here. Moving down to the waist area, this is more for the armored area, but it is a point of articulation, so we will cover it now. The waist can actually extend, which then makes this piece be able to clear the front legs and to be able to be extended just like this. And there also is one on the other side. You can also extend out just like that. And moving down a little bit further, here we have what I would say the hip area would be, and we actually have a side-to-side swivel for the hips. Now when we get down to the tail of this kit is when things just straight snap built, no glue or anything, things like to fall apart. Now it is actually these joints here that are the culprit, as they do not like to hold together very, very well. So my suggestion is, on final assembly of this kit, a little dot of glue to hold these together, and that would actually solve all of the issues. Or as you will probably see as I try to go through the articulation of this, they will probably fall apart. But starting with the tip of the tail here, the tip of the tail can actually swivel up and down. You have another joint here, a joint here, which is actually on a soft ratchet, which is very neat, and a joint up here at the top, as well as a full swivel base at the base of the tail, so it can actually go up and down. Each of these sections can actually twist, so you can actually get a lot of different variations of how you want to pose the tail. So there is a lot of articulation in the tail, but like I said, until you actually glue those pieces together, it may fall apart. And moving right along to the legs, the shoulders can actually pop up and out of the way, completely separate from the arm, and can actually swivel forward and back all the way around if you really wanted it to, which is very interesting. The leg itself is on a ball joint, so it can actually get pretty much anywhere you want it to go. It's got all sorts of range of motion, and there actually is a mechanism in the body itself for whenever you swing out, you can actually get a little bit more swing out. So as far as outward motion, that is about all you're going to get. As far as elbow bend, it is on a soft ratchet again, and you can get over 90 degrees of bend at the elbow there. It can straighten all the way out, cannot go back any further. And as far as the wrist, you can swing down, swing up, and the foot is on a ball joint. The foot itself is not articulated, it is a fixed pose, but you know, being on a ball joint, you can get all sorts of ankle tiltage and all sorts of stuff like that. And the bottoms are actually very detailed and color separated. As you can see, the claws themselves are actually in a gunmetal, the tops of the claws are in a silver, and the bottoms are all decked out in detail. And as far as the hind legs go, everything is the same as the front leg except for an added joint here as well as back here. And as you can see, that is a very tight little area there. Now the last two parts of articulation I want to go over before armoring this thing up is of course the gun at the base of the chest. As you can see here, it can actually move all sorts of different ways. It is a little bit hindered as far as, you know, downward. It can go up quite a ways, but it is basically just a peg and port system there. And the other point of articulation, I guess it would be considered articulation, or it may be just a gimmick, but you can actually pull out the core of the Liger. As you can see here, it's done in a red transparent plastic, and I think that's a pretty neat little thing they didn't have to add, but they added anyway, and it just slides up in there and holds in with friction, but I thought that was pretty cool. Now that we've taken a close look at what the Liger Zero X looks like without armor, let's get him armored up. And here we have the Liger Zero X all kitted out with his blue armor. Now, there is another version of the Liger Zero X with its what would be called standard version of armor, which is basically the white armor from the Liger Zero done in red. If I can find a picture, I will put one up right here. But they are two separate kits sold separately. So if you buy the one with the red armor, you'll get the one with the red armor. If you buy the one with the blue armor, you'll get the one with the blue armor. And I do believe that this blue armor is sold separately, so you can in turn buy the red one and then buy just the blue armor for it if that's what you like. So taking a quick look at the blue armor itself, as you can see, it does add a lot as far as the top of the Liger goes, but it is lacking a little bit in the leg department. The lower legs actually get no extra armor added at all. But, you know, it's the design of the kit, and, you know, if you had the red version, you could potentially put the leg armor on from the red version and maybe paint it blue, and that would look a little bit more filled out to me, but, you know, that's okay. It actually shows off a lot of that nice, you know, detail in the legs. As you can see, we get the hip pauldrons, we get a piece that goes on the butt. As you can see here, there's a nice shot of everything up top. We get this nice piece with the blue blades up top, get a nice head crest, and of course the typical Liger armor pieces on the side of the face here, a nice little tail piece in the back, and of course these giant little hip areas here. All the articulation is generally the same, except now we have a little bit more points of articulation. So on the bottom here, we actually get a piece that flaps back and forth to make up kind of the mane. The head crest on top doesn't really do anything. These pieces on the side, they do not hinder the head turning in any way, but they do swing out, as you can see here, so you can have those kind of flared out for any kind of dynamic poses, and they also all move independently, so you can actually splay these out in kind of a fan, as you can see here. So that's kind of neat that they're all actually independently articulated. That's pretty much it for the head. Moving down to the other end of the spectrum at the tail, the only articulation is these little gold bits can actually move up and down. So I guess, you know, if you had them roaring or something, you can have them up to make them look very dramatic. And as far as the rest of this goes, I'm only going to focus on one side, as the other side is exactly the same, and we will start off with the hips, and I'll pretty much only show off one. I'll do the other one, but they actually do open and close, and there's actually a piston gimmick here that whenever you close and open, it actually slides along this little rail up here, so it just makes it look like that piston is actually functioning and making it raise the pauldron up, which is really neat. And then of course these two pieces here can flip out, and I think these are supposed to be kind of like electricity conductors, because the whole thing around this Liger is it's like an electric Liger, so these blades generate electric blasts, and I think that these actually just aid in that. And last but not least, we will go over the main event of the kit, which is the blades. This, of course, is what I would consider the staple of this armor, and probably the coolest thing on this kit. There are so many points of articulation on these, so there are about 1 billion different things you can do with these, so it's kind of up to your imagination what you can do with these, but I'm only going to show off kind of the two main things that it shows in the manual. So, of course, starting off, we will extend the body ever so slightly, and then, you know, they're talking about articulation, you can actually slide the blades out, so they actually do get longer, they extend. Each blade is on a swivel here, so they do move independent of each other, and of course you can move them up, and you can actually move them forward, so you can have them actually facing forward. You can have both of those doing it, and in the manual it shows this happening, and it's meant to like shoot electricity forward. But of course, you can actually have them be blades and come down to the side. As you can see, it does clear those shoulder pieces. And as stated before in the review, you can actually slide them even further out, as you can see that slider on the side. So they can get really, really wide. This, if you had the other side out, this kit would pretty much cover the whole mat. It gets pretty large. And of course, when they're off to the side, there are plenty of things you can do. You can have like one go forward, one stay to the side, with all of these different points of articulation you have. You can even swivel upwards if you wanted it to. So literally, you can pretty much do just about anything with these blades. And to take one final look at the detail on these blades, as you can see, they are heavily detailed and look really amazing. Alright, so that's going to do it for this review on the Liger Zero X. If you like Zoids, then you will love this Kotobukiya line of Zoids. This Liger went way above and beyond my expectations. The level of articulation on this kit is amazing. The level of detail is even more amazing. You know, the fact that you can swap armors on the Ligers on this line is amazing. You could easily take any other, you know, armors from any other Kotobukiya Ligers and stick it on this one. So that in itself, the playability is awesome, the posability is awesome. So in my opinion, this is a great model kit. Everything came together like it was supposed to. Nothing had fitment issues. There are a couple of loose pieces whenever you just snap build it, mainly in the tail, but that can be easily taken care of with just a little bit of glue. So in my opinion, this is a 10 out of 10 model kit, a must-have. And if you want to get one of your own, you can head over to USAGundamstore.com. That's where I got this one, and that's where you can get one of these or any other Kotobukiya Zoids that you would like. As always, a like and subscribe would be appreciated if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.